So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 7 of the NFL season is coming to a close, and for the Chicago Bears, they get a great win at home against the Las Vegas Raiders in a game they dominated. In this video, as always, I'm going to give my recap on what I saw during the game, give my grades for offense, defense, special teams, and coaching, and without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. The Bears take a dominating 30-12 win at home against the Las Vegas Raiders in a game they dominated from the very first quarter all the way into the fourth. And as usual, after every win, I'm going to take my celebratory victory sip. So, now that that is out of the way, we can get straight into the recap. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but there's a lot of things to talk about. So, let's start off. We're going to start with the man of the hour, the offense. And I think the question everybody is asking right now is, how did Tyson Bagent play on Sunday? I thought he played solid. He was 21 of 29 for 162 yards. He averaged 7 yards per throw. He had 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and only took 1 sack on the day. And he had a 97.2 quarterback rating. What can I say? Tyson Bagent did what was asked of him. They didn't make him do too much. He found the open guy, got the ball out quick. But I will say this, you see a lot of quarterback controversy going around. You know, should he be the starter for the rest of the season? Should he be the starter next week? I'll say this about the game plan that the Bears had for him on Sunday. It was very simple. He didn't throw the ball more than 10 yards once. 7 yards per throw. Every throw, they were moving the pocket. You know, there was a guy running some type of out route or to the flat. Something quick to get the ball out of his hands. They didn't ask him to do too much like they usually do with Justin Fields. They didn't have him standing back there waiting for long routes to develop, so that he wasn't constantly under pressure. Tyson Bagent, like I said, he played okay. He did what they asked him to do. The game plan was very, very simplified, and you want to have that for your backup quarterback. I'm not ready to fully commit to Tyson Bagent yet. We've seen this story before with Nick Foles a couple years ago, where he came in the Atlanta game and he was just getting the ball out quick, finding open guys, and then the next game they played, the offense kind of came back to reality. I'm not ready to commit to Tyson Bagent as quarterback 1 yet. I just think he played a solid game for what they asked him to do. That's all I'm going to say about that. For me, Justin Fields is still the starter on this team, but overall a solid day for Tyson Bagent. Moving on to rushing, the Bears definitely committed to running the ball on Sunday, and that complements the game plan that they had for Bagent, because D'Onta Foreman, man, he had a day. 16 attempts for 89 yards, averaged 5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and he also caught a pass for a touchdown. Darrington Evans followed right behind him with 14 attempts for 48 yards and averaged 3 yards per carry. The Bears committed to running the ball, and they paid off big time. D'Onta Foreman, I said this last week, he shouldn't be inactive for the rest of the season. He really showed why the Bears went out and got him. Runs physical, was able to break tackles, finding the holes in the defense, very physical runner. He even caught a couple passes. It definitely felt like the Bears committed more to running the ball, especially runs that were more fitted to under center, downhill, power running, and that's what you need to do when you want to have a successful offense, because guess what? The run game sets everything else up, and that really helped Tyson Bagent on Sunday. Now I'm hoping that the Bears can replicate that success next week. But I was really happy with the rushing, especially for us missing a lot of running backs right now. I'm happy with that. We are going to move on to receiving. Receiving is, when you only throw the ball, 7 yards through the air, your receivers aren't going to have a lot of yards or receptions. DJ Moore led the way with 8 receptions on the day and 54 yards on those. Nobody had a touchdown pass. None of the receivers had a touchdown pass caught. D'Onta Foreman caught a touchdown pass. Darnell Mooney, he got involved in a lot of the short stuff. It seemed like the receivers were running a lot of short stuff to help Bagent. And, I put this up, and I'll say this, if you didn't notice the change in game plan with Bagent out there, you might be blind, because you definitely saw it out there. They were making Bajent get rid of the ball. They were making sure the receivers were playing closer to the line of scrimmage if they weren't throwing behind the line of scrimmage. So, not a lot of big numbers for them. I was hoping Cole Kmet would have got involved a little bit more. I don't think he had a catch on the day. Tyler Scott made a few big plays. That was probably the only throw that Tyson Bajent had semi-downfield. But otherwise, I think the receiving was kind of, I would like to see more. I would still like to see DJ Moore have more than 8 catches. But overall, they got the win. They did what they were supposed to do. Overall, I think I give the offense a solid B+. I need to see more from Tyson Bajent. I need to see him throw downfield. I want to see when defenses start sitting on those short routes, will he make the adjustment and will he be able to fit the balls downfield? And will the Bears be able to adjust to that? But they got the win on Sunday. They executed their game plan. There's nothing more you can do about that. Moving on to defense, I was very pleased with how the defense played, even though it was against Brian Hoyer, and he wasn't very good on Sunday. This defense, they were flying all over the ball. They were able to stop the run. They stopped Josh Jacobs early and often. They never really let him get into a rhythm. Devontae Adams, he was held in check, especially by Tyreek Stevenson that was guarding him for most of the day. A lot of passes were airmailed by Brian Hoyer. Jalen Johnson, man, it's time to pay him. One interception in his career up until Sunday, in which he got 2, including one he took back for a pick 6. So, I've always been a big fan of Jalen Johnson ever since they drafted him coming out of Utah. Very good man corner. He can play zone. It felt like he was engaged to take on the matchup with some of these receivers. He was able to get 2 interceptions on the day. Pay the man, Ryan Poles. He deserves it. Tremaine Edmonds, he had 8 total tackles, 6 solo tackles. He also had an interception off Brian Hoyer. Jaquan Brisker was the leading tackler of the day with 9 solos. The only thing I'm not really pleased about with the Bears defense is that they were unable to generate really any pressure on Brian Hoyer. You only had 1 sack, and against guys that are going to sit back and pick you apart, against guys like Justin Herbert coming up next week, you have to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. But overall, I think the defense did pretty well. I'm going to give them an A-. Got to get those sacks up, but they were able to force 3 turnovers on the day, and at the end of the day, they held the Las Vegas Raiders to 12 points. So I'm pleased with that. Special teams, Cairo Santos hit a 54-yard field goal, the longest of the season. You get an A automatically for that. He basically sealed the game for the Bears. Velus Jones, he was pretty aggressive with his kickoff returns. Didn't have the week he did last week. But I like what he was doing back there on special teams. It seemed like he was more aggressive. Special teams gets an A in my book. Coaching. Now, I'll give the coaching a little bit of credit. I still think that the offense should still be tailored more to Justin Fields' strengths. I think they should do what they did for Bajent this game and incorporate that into Justin Fields' game. But they did their thing. Matt Eberflus's defense came to play. They held the Raiders to only 12 points. They locked down Devontae Adams. They were able to force turnovers. Nobody was missing any tackles. So that's a plus. Luke Getsy tailored his game plan perfectly to Tyson Bajent's strength. He didn't get sacked much. They didn't make him sit back there and look for these long developing routes. They tailored the offense to their quarterback, and that's what you want to see in a play caller. I think I'm just going to have to, buckle down and give the coaching an A. It's always good when you get a win, but I'm still not entirely sold on the coaching staff just yet. I want to see them do this next week against the Chargers. That's pretty much all I got. We got the Chargers next week on Sunday Night Football, and a game that's going to be very tough. We don't know who will be starting in that game, whether Justin Fields will be ready or Tyson Bajent will be starting. We will see. But overall, I think the Bears played well on Sunday. I'm going to get up out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video as it helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. Follow me on social media as there's bound to be a lot of news coming out about the Bears this week. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Bear down, and I'm out. Peace.